G'day, Alistair here, and I have 6 of these. Now this is, if I come to here, 6 of these. So this is a Samsung memory, and it's DDR4. It's registered, so registered DIMM. So DIMM is dual inline memory module, R for registered. The 16 gigabytes in each DIMM, and 2666 in speed. Now I'm pairing that with my Xeon E5 2699 V4, and if we have a look down at the memory supported, so DDR4 definitely sits as Xeon. It supports ECC up to 2400, so probably won't be able to do the 2666, but should be able to do 2400. That'll be cool. Now the problem is possibly going to be in the motherboard. So it's an X99 Taichi, which I've had for years, just a really fantastic motherboard for its day. And if we look at the memory supported, so blah blah blah, non-ECC unbuffered memory, that's fine. Supports registered DIMMs, non-ECC, that's cool. But supports DDR4 ECC unbuffered memory, and it says RDIMM as well. I'm not sure if, I'm presuming that's registered, so I'm not entirely certain this is going to work. So I want to put these in the motherboard. We're going to try that out quickly and hopefully it'll work. So currently, if I go log into it, we can take a look at what it's currently configured as. So it currently has 16 gig of RAM, and it's DDR4 3200, so 3200 mega transfers per second. We say mega transfers because it's not megahertz, it's actually operating at less than that, half that speed, I think. And we'll finally see if we can get to log into the machine. Remote desktop only seems to work every second time. I'm not quite sure what the story is there. So let's minimize the security cameras. We don't need that, but we'll bring up Task Manager and go Performance, Memory, and we see it's running at, so it's DDR 2400, effectively running with a 3% overclock, which is kind of a weird thing. I can't actually disable that 3% overclock without swapping out the CPU at this point. I did it on another CPU, and when I swap the CPU in, the overclocking tools are no longer present. So, but you know, a 3% overclock, that's good. And generally Xeons won't do any more than that. So anyway, let's shut this machine down and throw in this memory and see if it works. And fingers crossed it will. So in theory, we won't lose any performance with the speed of the memory. It's slower than the memory that's in there, but it's still faster than the memory that is supported by the CPU. So let's, shut down, if it will. Here we go. I'll wait till this shuts off, and I'll unplug it, and we'll open up and have a look inside. And we'll throw it on the test bench, aka the floor. So here we have inside the case, and I'd actually given it a bit of a clean out the other day because I put in this 10 gig networking card, which I will discuss in another video. But let's just pop out. Let's go in the outside slots. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so these don't quite look as sexy as the Ripjaws, but they should do the job. I said outside, didn't I? Quite nicely. Okay. 2, 3, and 4. And the moment of truth. Will it post? Oh, that one. There we go. Powering on. Okay, the debug LEDs are still counting up. $91, $95, $96. Oh no, other way around. Oh, and we've got a post. So it often takes a little bit of extra time first time round when you're swapping out memory, because it does sometimes do some memory training. So have a bit of a collection of hard drives in here for the storage, and oh, it's decided it needs to fix some stuff on H drive. That's the Blue Iris drive, so hopefully that won't be too serious. So we've got a NVMe SSD down here, of course a 10 gig networking, some extra USB ports, and I've got this sort of generic CPU cooler, but I swapped it for a knock to a fan, so a lot quieter. I actually have a bigger one, 150mm fan, or 140, 150. Anyway, it's huge. I think it's 140, 120. I don't know, but yeah, I'm going to swap that out at some point because I think this is the only case that might fit it. Back when I had my original i7 4770K in there. Okay, so we can have a look at the screen. So I haven't got plugged into the network at the moment. Let's go. Oops. Not taskbar settings. Task manager. Performance. Okay, we're still on memory, and it's still running at the same speed. They're registered. Okay, and we've got 64 gigabyte. So success. So I now have the dilemma. I could upgrade this to 96 gigabytes by adding the other two DIMMs in, but I'm not sure how that will affect the 4-channel memory, because at the moment it'll be operating with 4 channels, and putting in an extra 2 DIMMs might drop it all down to 2-channel memory. But 64 gig is heaps. I might hang on to the other memory for throwing into another machine. So yeah, anyway, I am very happy with that. I was reasonably confident it would work, but not 100%. So yeah, so now I've got a nice little stack of memory I could throw in another machine, and that's, you know, reasonably fast memory too, DDR3200. I think the CAS of 16, you know, latency. Alright, I will shut this down and put this back and call it successful. So, all done, all working. I'm pleased that it was successful. I now have 2 of these spare, and I bought the 64 gigabytes of this ECC server RAM for about the same price as I could get about 16 gigabytes of desktop memory, so regular DDR4, or that would have been DDR3200. So, you know, but it's a pretty good deal. So yeah, all upgraded, 64 gigabytes, running at a reasonable speed. The computer did blue screen when I shut it down, restarted it for the first time, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I've rebooted it since and it was fine. When you shut down a computer, it saves a whole bunch of state. Windows preserves a bunch of stuff so it can load it back faster, so that when you restart it's quicker, but it doesn't do that when you reboot. So it probably, when I shut it down to replace the memory and, you know, shutting it down or restarting it again, it probably had some sort of fit about some sort of incompatibility, or not expecting quite as much memory, or not expecting ECC RAM or something like that. But we're all good, it's all working, and I will see you in the next video.